I'm fired up. I just married my daughter. She married a heck of a guy. I got to meet their family, and it's been absolutely fabulous. I just got off the plane, a little tired, but I'm ready to give you the best that I got left until I get to practice today. Okay, so it's going to be a heck of a year. Second time around in the conference, got a lot more knowledge. What questions you guys have for me? Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Coach, how do you? Sorry.
You overstepped my bounds there.
You talked about another year, but how do you break down a fall camp for you?
You know, it's just like raising your children, and some of us has had that experience, some of us didn't. I'm sitting at that wedding, and I'm watching my daughter marry a fabulous person, Coda Martin, the left tackle for Texas A&M, outstanding student, spiritual guy, strong, and you meet his father, Kirk, who's a high school football coach at Manville High School in Texas. And then you meet both sides of the grandfather, and the tradition and the steadiness and the consistency in that family. You can see it all the way down from the tree. You can see it branching off, branching off, and then you see it inside of Coda himself. And then I see my three daughters standing up and giving toasts to the third youngest who's getting married. And you know, I'm a pretty humble guy, but it was a pretty proud moment. And the way they went about their business, was outstanding. It was you say proud father, was a proud father, was a proud coach. Two-a-days is no difference. If you want to have that pride, if you want to have that smile on your face at the end of the year, you've got to put your time in now. When, hey, your room's not cleaned up, you're going to clean up your room. You're not going to do this, you're going to do that. And sometimes they get a vote, they're your children, and sometimes they don't. Two-a-days is the exact same way. You're going to work on the little things. You're going to be consistently good, not occasionally great. There's little things that we're doing in July and August that matters. And it's going to matter in November, and hopefully it's going to matter in December. You guys are looking at me. You guys know what I'm talking about. You guys had strong parents. And it's the exact same thing. The coolest thing about this year is that the children, so to speak, they know it's good for them. Before they were just mad they couldn't get the gumdrop. Okay, now they understand that they were going to get the gumdrop, they're just going to eat their dinner first. Okay?
Second row on lot.
Oftentimes it's always about the little things.
Oh, you got to slow down now. Come on now, give me a chance.
I apologize. A lot of times it's always about the little things that affect the big things in the end. What little things do you think you guys need to clean up to have success this season?
You go back to legal procedures. We led the conference in legal procedures. Now, if you go back and check our record, because we're a no-huddle team, we normally do lead the conference in legal procedures, but we win in spite of that. But we had way, way too many. We got to get more pressure on the quarterback. We got to find a way to get pressure on the quarterback. And we have to find a way to stay healthy. I thought one of the biggest issues last year is that we didn't get the chance or an opportunity to play with people for a long period of time. They're in, they're out, they're in and out, whether it's their fault or whatever the reasons. The bottom line is we weren't able to keep the same group of guys on the field for a long period of time. And we need to be lucky in that department. We need to be lucky. We're not deep, but we are good on the top. And if we can keep some of those good players around for a long period of time, it's going to give us a better opportunity to do better.
Okay. Second row on the right.
What's the biggest improvement you think?
What's your name?
Oh, my name's Karthik Venkataraman.
Say it again.
Karthik Venkataraman.
Okay. You get best dressed.
Hey, we'll get there. Normally that goes to me.
Go ahead.
Anyway, my name's Karthik. What's the biggest improvement you feel you've seen in Eric Dungey since last year?
Just his calmness. He has a peace about him. He ran something by me the other day, and it kind of, he might have said it before, but it never stuck to the other day. Now, I don't know if this is exactly right, but he said something to the effect that he's never had the exact same offense 2 years in a row since high school. He said even in high school, he's never had the same offense 2 years in a row. So this will actually be, and he only got 8 out of the 12 games, this will actually be the first time that he's ever gone into his second year with the exact same offense. And when you look at him sometimes, last year I thought there was an uneasiness about him. And I think there's some peace to him right now that he's coming back into this thing. He can foresee some things before they're going to happen. I want him to be able to anticipate a call before he even comes in the game. I mean, I want us to start to signal the call, and he turns away, and whoa, he already knows. He's finishing our sentences. You remember the way Nancy Reagan was finishing Ronald Reagan's sentences when she was in the White House?
I was a little too young for that.
Oh, you gotta Google it. You gotta Google it. So you guys are missing out on all the good stuff. You got to Google that thing. It was outstanding. Well, it's the exact same way. When he starts finishing sentences for us, like we've been married a long time, we're gonna have a good opportunity to win.
Nico.
Coach, good to see you.
Good to see you, Nico.
These first couple of days of camp, practice today and tomorrow, what do you specifically look for as things really get rolling? I know there's been off-season lifting and whatnot, but the first 2 real practices, anything specific you look for there?
You really don't want to do anything major. You want to make sure the guys are warmed back up. I want to say they had a 10-day break. And although I know they all did exactly what they were supposed to do and went to bed early, we just want to make sure that we warm them back up. They're going to get 2 or 3 days to get acclimated, and then we're going to get going. So it's just a little warm-up phase. It gives us a good opportunity to look at our freshman class really for the very first time. So I think those are going to be the main things that we're going to concentrate on early outside of the football part of it.
Steven?
You always talk about the hippos and the elephants.
No doubt.
You lost one of each, at least for the year this offseason, Stephen Clark and Aaron Roberts. How does that affect what the team can do this year and how you're kind of approaching preseason camp?
You know, to me, the coolest thing about football, I say this all the time, is that 2 things. A, you're allowed to hit the best player on both teams, you know, and you don't get penalized for it. You don't get fouls for it. You can't foul out. That's the best thing about football.
Well, you can get
And the second thing, well, you can foul out. And then the second thing is that when someone goes down, someone else is going to have an opportunity to step up. And being able to adjust and move the pegs around and put a triangle in a square, we do that sometimes in football. You can't yeah, you do. Yeah, we can. Especially if that's all we got. So I think that's part of it. And every football team goes through it. It's unfortunate. Especially for Roberts, but the one thing is that we'll turn that negative to a positive. You know, he'll get an opportunity to come back. We'll get that year back, and he'll be with us when we're playing Notre Dame over there with Touchdown Jesus, and it'll be awesome. So we turn negative into positives. Everything happens for a reason. I'm sure it's going to work out in the end.
You think he'll get a 6th year, or just he'll come back for the 5th?
I think he'll. We'll see.
His first red shirt was just, I know you weren't here, but it was just elective. It wasn't injury-based, right?
I can't remember. We're going to go back and check the notes. To be continued.
Yeah.
Second row on the right.
Check in the shape.
Coach, how would you describe this year's team dynamics compared to last year's and teams that you've coached in the past?
You know, we haven't seen this year's team yet. We're going to get the first opportunity to see it this year on the field. You can't talk about the 27 Orange without including the freshman class. So we got an opportunity to see 3/4 of the team in spring ball. We think we're off to a good start. The team is going to finalize during 2-a-days with the freshmen. We just don't have enough numbers not to include those guys into the things that we need to do during the season to have an opportunity.
All right.
Coach, everyone always talks about the offense and the numbers you put up, but what changes do you want to see on the defensive side of the football this year?
Well, we need to get more stops. We need to get more turnovers. We got to get pressure on the quarterback. People are saying, hey, you can't do this, you can't do that. There's not really, in my opinion, there's really not that many good quarterbacks in college football. And there's a lot of quarterback coaches, but I'm going to say some coaches are better than others. And I think that you can, if at this stage of the game, you have to be able to, with the quarterbacks that aren't seasoned, you have to be able to test them. You know, I'm not talking about the guy from Louisville. I'm not talking about Deshaun Watson. I'm not talking about those guys. Those guys are outstanding. But for these other young guys that are getting started going around for their very first time, we got to be able to test them. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not going to talk about my guys, but there's a quarterback in Middle Tennessee that is the real deal. He's a coach's son, and he is the real deal. I'm not blowing that up to make it look good. He's really, really highly ranked, and he's got a chance to be an NFL quarterback. So they don't always come on Power 5 teams. But, when we don't have a guy like that, we need to be able to get after him. That's what I want to see, a big difference in the defense.
Matt?
Coach, I think a lot of people would label this schedule this year as daunting. How would you label it?
You know what? It's a blessing. We get an opportunity to go out and play the best, we're going to play the best. Somebody set this thing up, the stars lined up, and we're playing 11, 12, really, really outstanding football teams, and we'll play them one at a time. We'll see how it goes.
Steve?
Why the decision to reinstate Devon Clark, and was Jaquan Nelson, is it his decision to leave or was he dismissed?
I'm not going to talk too much about that thing. The bottom line is this. I think if everybody deserves a second chance, unless it's one of those things where you don't get a second chance for it. And I'm not trying to be short with you, that's just how it is.
So did Jaquan Nelson have a second chance?
That's all how I'm going to answer that.
Oh.
Okay?
Second row on the right.
Coach, what's your focus for these first couple of helmet-only practices? What do you want to see from the team?
I really want to see the guys go through and start with the little things. We talk about that stuff all the time, but it's going to show up. We need to line up right. We need to step right. And here's another thing. The things I want to see the first 2 or 3 days, I want to see the coaches come out the doggone tunnel. I want them to be on top of we need to be on top of our game. If we're going to have the year that we need the year, it starts with the coaches, starts at the top, trickles to the bottom, goes through the captains and whoever those guys are by the end of the year, the leaders of the football team, all the way down to the trainers and the guys giving us water. Okay.
And going off of that, how are you as a coaching staff and with the coaches and the players with the players? How's everyone holding each other accountable?
Oh, it's, you know, we have little kumbaya meetings. Things are trickled down. They understand their roles. Okay, they understand their roles. It'll be good.
Last 2 questions, Mario and Nico.
Coach, you talked about just getting off the plane and coming here, but what went through your mind as you were getting off the plane for another season as head coach for you as you step into it?
I was just so fired up that I know. You know, I know. I've seen Clemson. I've seen Florida State. I've seen Louisville. I know. Okay. Now I've never seen LSU, but I guess I'm gonna get to find that out. I've seen Miami. Okay. Now I know we've gone through it one time. We know what to work on to give ourselves an even better opportunity to get after some of those guys and see if we can come up with a little bit more wins.
Nico?
It's similar, we can ask you X's and O's questions all day here and whatnot, but here we are, first day of camp. The person who loves football here, how just excited are you to get out there and start a new season?
I'm excited. This is the start of 2017 for me. You know what I mean? January 1, 2017, the ball dropped. Right now. This is the start of 2017 right now. It's football season. Does anything else matters? I mean, we went through that break for 3 months. I saw what you guys were writing. You couldn't come up with anything to write for the last 3 months. Now it's going to be easy. It's going to be easy. It's football season. Everybody's going to read it. Everybody's clicking in. You guys will get all kinds of hits. Life will be good around here again. How about that? Thank you guys so much. Got to get going.
Thank you.
All right. We good, Mike?
All good. Thank you.